Hello everyone, ScienceVector241 here. In this video I will be showcasing Voicecraft v1.0.0 release and also showing you how to install it. Let's get started. So what is Voicecraft? Voicecraft is a voice proximity chat application / mod for Minecraft Bedrock Edition that directly supports Android and Windows devices. It can be used on Bedrock dedicated servers, which comes with Cave Echo, underwater talking effect, voice fading and directional hearing. It also can be used on any server, single-player world, or realm using client-side positioning at the cost of having to remove voice effects and directional hearing. Here is a few videos of what it looks like when using Voicecraft. Yeah, the K sounds. Speak. Eee. It's going.
Let's go and
Go into the void. Like drop into the void.
oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
Hello?
Hello. Heated. So the first thing that we'll be setting up is a Voicecraft server with client-side positioning. Now with the client-side positioning, we don't actually need to set up or link a Minecraft server, as this will allow anyone who connects to be able to connect to any other single-player world, server or realm, and be able to communicate with everyone connected to the Voicecraft server. So, first thing that you want to do is to actually get a VPS server or any sort of server that can run Voicecraft. Now, in my case, I'm using a Windows Server 2022 VPS. Now, everything that I do on this screen, or inside this screen, is on the server. And this is not actually on my computer, which is in the background. So everything that I do on here will not be on my computer. This will be on the server. Now, if you wanted to install Voicecraft on a Linux server, there is an issue that someone did post on my GitHub, and they were able to run Voicecraft on the Linux server. However, since I don't use Linux or have never really used Linux, I do not know how to set it up. So I won't be showcasing this in this video, but I might do in a guide on the wiki page. So, first thing that you want to do is you want to go to your browser. In this case, it's Edge for me. Then what you want to search up is Voicecraft Proximity Chat. And usually, it'll be the first result. Sometimes you need to scroll down, and then you will see on the GitHub, there is the Voicecraft MCP Proximity Chat. So we can click on that. And once you've navigated to this, what you want to do is you want to click on the release, v1.0.0 release on the right hand side. So when we click on that, we will go to the release page. And then what you want to do is you want to scroll down and download the voicecraft.server.zip. Now, with the Voicecraft server, this is an uncompiled version, meaning that this server can run on any architecture if you have the correct drivers installed. So, what you want to do is you want to click on the voicecraft.server and download it. And once it's downloaded, navigate to the downloaded file. In this case, it's in my downloads folder. Right click on it and then extract all. Then extract. And once you've extracted it, we need to start the server. Now, all we have to do is just double click on the voicecraft.server.exe. Now, this will usually come up because Windows or Microsoft haven't even verified this software. But regardless of that, we can just run anyway. we click on more info and then run anyway. And it will start. Now, if for some reason that it doesn't start, you might need to download the Voicecraft, the .NET drivers. In which case, what you will need to do is you will need to open up your browser and type in .NET 7.0 drivers. And then once you've found this link, I will also be leaving this link in the description below. We can download the latest versions. Now, on the Windows server, you have to know what architecture your server is running. In my case, well, in most cases, it will be running Time64 for Windows. So we just need to download the x64 for Windows. If you were to do a 32-bit, you would have to do x86, and then if you were running ARM64, you would download ARM64. But since I've already got the .NET drivers installed on this server, we don't need to do this. So, once the server's started, we can actually close this, and we can actually open up the server properties.json. Now in the server properties, we can set some settings here. So we can set the voice port, the signaling port, and the mcgon port, which we won't be using for this section, but we'll be using it when we link up the Minecraft server. So, what we need to do is to actually set up the connection type to client-sided. We need to change connection type to 1. Now, with the connection type, there are about 3 settings. There's the server-sided mode, which makes it so the server only accepts server-sided positioning. Then the client-sided mode, which in this case is 1. That will only accept client-sided positioning. And then 2, to accept both client-sided and server-sided positioning. But for now, we only need the client-sided positioning, so we'll just set that to 1. Then all we have to do is just save this file, and then we can just run the server. And that will start the server in client-sided positioning. Now, the second thing that we need to do is we need to port forward the signaling port and the voice port. Now, signaling and voice are both on separate protocols, but they have the same port number. Now, if you look in the logging, you can see that it says port 9050 TCP for signaling. And then on the voice, we can see that it says port 9050 UDP for voice. So, with that in mind, we need to port forward these ports on either your router, depending on your setup, or the firewall. In which case, I will be doing it through the firewall since I am on a VPS. So, what we need to do is open up Windows Firewall, click on Inbound Rules, and then what we'll need to do is we'll need to create a new rule. And then what we need to do is we need to click on Port and click on Next, then Specific Local Ports. Now, since we are doing the TCP first, it's 9050, so we'll just need to type in 9050. And then we'll just click on Next, allow the connection, Next, keep all these the same, and then we can set the name if we want to. So, we'll just set this to Voicecraft Signaling. and then we'll finish. As you can see, it's added this new rule for us. Next, we'll need to port for the voice port. So we'll do the same thing again, which is new rule port. Then this time we need to select UDP, then the same port, which is 9050 for the voice port. Allow the connection, keep all these the same, and then we'll just type in the name, which is Voicecraft Voice, and click on Finish. As you can see, we have got it added, and that is all you need to do. So let's move on to the client side. So for the client side, what you need to do is you need to navigate to the same release page. In this case, it's the v1.0.0 release. I will be leaving a link to this in the description below. Then scroll down and download the appropriate version of Voicecraft. So in my case, since I'm running it on a Windows device, I would download the voicecraft.windows.zip. If I were to download for the Android version, I would download the com.sign.voicecraft.mobile.apk. But since we are on Windows, we'll just download the Windows file. So we'll just click on that, then save it in our downloads folder. And once it's downloaded, navigate to the downloaded file, right click on it, extract all, and extract. And once it's done, all we need to do is just run the voicecraft.windows.exe. Now this will pop up again since we haven't even ran this software before. So all we need to do is just click on more info and run anyway. And this will start the Voicecraft application for us. Now if you don't have the .NET drivers installed on your computer, there will be a window that will pop up and say you don't have the .NET drivers installed. It will provide you with a link to download the drivers, and once you've installed the drivers, you can then run the Voicecraft application. So once you've got it running, what you need to do is you need to add the server. So we'll just click on the plus sign here. We'll give this a name. So we'll do tutorial. Next is the server IP. Now with the server IP, if we remember from our first section of the server setup, we can see that our IP address is this on the top left. Now, for the hoster, and the hoster being the person who set up the Voicecraft server, what you need to do is you need to give your IP address to the people that you want to connect to your Voicecraft server. So in my case, it's the vector.gotdns.ch. So I'll just type in vector.gotdns.ch. And next, what we need to do is we need to type in the port. Now again, the hoster, in which case the server setup, needs to also provide this information. And the port that the hoster needs to give is the signaling port. Just keep this in mind. For those who are hosting your Voicecraft servers, you need to give the signaling port, not the voice port. This may confuse you in some ways. Say for example you set the port to 9051 and you set the signaling port to 9050. Now if you were to give the port 9051, the client would not be able to connect since that's the wrong port. You would need to give the signaling port. So since this is by default 9050, we'll just leave that be. Next is the key. Now this is your preferred key. but this will only be used for server-side connections. So for right now, we don't need to set this to anything. We'll just leave this at 0. One thing to mention is the key will actually change when there is a conflict. So the server will give you a randomly generated key if there is a conflict for your preferred key. So if you were to set a key of 456 and then it conflicted with another participant who has the same key, the server will give you a new key for that session, for that connected session. But this will not change when you reconnect, since this is a preferred key that you prefer over any other randomly generated key, which the server will try and give you. But if there is a conflict, then the server will just give you a randomly generated key for that session. So for now, we'll just leave this at 0. Then we'll just click on Add Server. And once you've added the server, all we need to do is click on View. And if the hoster has set up the server correctly, we'll see a ping. And we can see that we have the server information. Now, if we try and connect, because we haven't even enabled the client-side positioning on the VoiceCraft application. So to do this, we just click on OK. This will navigate back to this. Click on Back. Then click on the cog icon on the top right. And this will navigate to the settings of your application. Now to turn on client-side positioning, all we have to do is just turn on this toggle. And that is pretty much all we have to do. So all we need to do is just after you've toggled this, then click on the arrow, click on View, and then click on Connect. And of course, sometimes it does time out since my internet is slow. But once it is connected, this may pop up, as in your firewall will pretty much block some connections. Just click on Allow, but it doesn't really matter that much. Basically, it's just allowing your MCWS's connection through the firewall. But in our case, we only need to connect the Minecraft application to the VoiceCraft application, which is what we need to do right now. So once you're connected, it'll say waiting for MCWS's connection. Now, all we have to do is just open up Minecraft. And once you're in Minecraft, what we need to do is we need to load up a single player world. Now, you specifically have to open up a single player world because we are going to use the /connect command, which is only available in single player worlds. If we were to connect to a realm or a server, we can't use that command. So we need to open up a single player world. So when we open up a single player world, cheats have to specifically be on as well for you to access the command. There we are, we're in. All we have to do is just open up chat, type /connect. Now, for the server URI, we're connecting Minecraft to the VoiceCraft application. Now, since Minecraft and the VoiceCraft application is on the same machine, in this case it's on my laptop, they're both on the same laptop, we need to use the loopback IP address. And the loopback IP address is 127 0.0.0.1. Now, this will make it so Minecraft will specifically look for an endpoint connection to the Voicecraft application on the same laptop. Now, for the port, we need to type in a colon, then type in 8080. Now, if you haven't changed your port, it'll be by default 8080 for the Voicecraft application. If you were to change this to something else in the Voicecraft settings, then you would have to type in that port. But since we haven't even changed it or touched it, we'll keep this at 8080 since that's the default. Now once we connect, it'll say connection established to server ws/127.0.0.1 :8080. Now if it doesn't work, it may be the probable cause is the UWP application does not have access to loopback IP address. And to actually fix that, all you have to do is run the command that you see on the screen right now in an administrative PowerShell terminal. And once you have run that command, it'll say OK. And then all you have to do is just restart Minecraft, redo the same steps, and it should say connection established to server. For Android users, you do not need to do this since Minecraft already has access to the loopback IP address on Android devices. So, once we are done, or once we have connected, you will see that on Voicecraft, we are connected, and key 0, and there's my name. So, the great thing about the client-side positioning is we can exit out of our world and join any other server, and Voicecraft will track our location and will send it to the server, or whatever, and it will stay connected no matter what, unless you close down Minecraft, in which case it'll break the connection and it will no longer be connected. So in our case, if we were to close Minecraft, it should say a disconnected message, but for some reason it doesn't. I'm not sure what's going on there, but if you were to close Minecraft, then you should no longer be able to talk to other players. But for now, that is all you need to do to connect Voicecraft, Minecraft to Voicecraft to use the voice proximity chat. So let's move on to the server-sided positioning. So for server-sided positioning, you need to download the Voicecraft server. Now, if you haven't watched the first part of this tutorial, you'll need to watch that to locate to where to download the Voicecraft server. And if you have the Voicecraft server running, just close out of it, then open up serverproperties.json. Now we are going to specifically set up a server-to-server communication, in which case we need to change the Voicecraft server to connection type of 0, since we want to set up a server-to-server communication. So save the file. Once you have set this to 0, since this will set the Voicecraft server to server-sided mode, then we can close out of it and run the server. Now, second thing that we need to do is we need to download and install, most likely download the BDS server, which is the Bedrock dedicated server. And we also need to install the add-ons. for the server in order to set up the communication. So what you want to do is open up your browser in your server, then type in Minecraft Bedrock server download, and click on the first link. I will also be leaving a link to this in the description below. So since we are running a Windows VPS, we'll be downloading the Minecraft Dedicated Server software for Windows. So we'll just click on I agree and click on download. So once we have downloaded this, navigate to the downloaded file and then extract all, then extract. And while that's extracting, the second thing you need to download is the Voicecraft RP and BP. So the resource pack and the behavior pack. So, like before, navigate to the release page of Voicecraft, scroll down until you get to the downloads, and download both the voicecraft.addon.bp and the voicecraft.addon.rp. And once you have downloaded these, navigate to the downloaded packs, and you'll need to extract them into the Bedrock server. So we'll wait a bit for this to finish, and then we'll extract the files. So once your server has finished extracting, what we'll need to do is we'll need to open up the Bedrock server, and we need to put a world that has the beta APIs enabled. Now, in order to do this, what we need to do is we need to enable beta APIs on a pre-existing world, or we need to create a new world and enable the beta APIs. So what you need to do is you need to open up Minecraft, then once you have Minecraft open, create a new world, set it whatever settings that you want. Then under experiments, what we need to do is we need to enable the beta APIs module. So we'll click on that and turn on experiments anyways. And of course we can set any other settings that we like. I'll just be doing this for simplicity. Then we'll click on create. And once you have created the world, what we can then do is we can save and quit. Click on the edit button, scroll down, and export world. Then we can export this anywhere we like, so we'll just export it there. Then once we've exported the world, navigate to your exported world, then copy your exported world, and then you need to paste in your exported world into the server, in which case it's pretty much uploading a world, but in the Windows Server RDP we just need to copy and paste into the server. Next, what we need to do is we need to create a new folder and call it worlds. Second thing we need to do is we need to cut your uploaded world and paste it into the worlds folder. Next, we need to change the .mc world to .zip. Now, if for some reason that you somehow don't see the .mc world, it is most likely that you can't see extensions or file extensions. Now, to enable file extensions in File Explorer or Windows File Explorer, click on View and click on File Name Extensions. And this will show and hide the file name extensions. Next, we need to extract the world. And once it's extracted, we can delete the zip file, since we don't need that anymore. Then next, we need to import the add-ons into here. Now, to import the add-ons, if you remember that we downloaded the add-ons for VoiceCraft, we need to extract these into the world. So to do this, we'll just be cutting this. So we'll be doing the behavior pack first. Navigate to your world. Click on New Folder. Then call this behavior. Make sure you don't put a U, since that stuffed me up quite a bit. Then underscore packs. And inside that folder, we'll paste in the VoiceCraft add-on. Next, we need to extract the add-on. And once we've extracted the add-on, we can delete the zip file. Then we need to do the same for the resource pack. So again, cut your downloaded add-on RP, or the VoiceCraft add-on RP, Bedrock server, then your worlds. Same thing again, click on New Folder, Resource underscore packs. Then paste in the VoiceCraft add-on RP. Then, same thing again, extract all, and delete the zip file. Now, once we are done with extracting the add-on packs, next thing we need to do is we need to copy the manifest files, or the manifest UUIDs, and we need to enable it on our world. And to do this, for the first one we'll be doing is the behavior pack. So voicecraft.addon.bp, then open up the manifest.json, scroll down until you see UUID. So what we're going to do is we want to copy that, exit out, then navigate to your world folders and files, open up world behavior packs.json, then in the brackets we need to add in curly braces, add in pack underscore ID with the apostrophes, then a colon, another another apostrophe, paste in your UUID, then close it off with another apostrophe. Next thing is we need to add in the version. So we'll just put in a comma. Then we'll add in version. Next we need to add in array. So we need to do the square brackets. And then we need to put in 1, 0, 0. And that is all we need to do. So we can close out of this and do the same thing for the resource pack. So again, manifest.json in the resource pack, copy the UUID and do the same setup. Once you are done, what we need to do is we need to close out of your editing, and what we need to do is we need to navigate back to the server files and enable a certain feature that Bedrock servers only have, which is the Minecraft Server Net module. Now to enable it, you need to navigate to your server files, config, default, then permissions.json. Now in here, we need to add in a new module, so the Minecraft Server-Net. So to do this, all I need to do is add a comma, enter, then type in @Minecraft/server-net, and then save the file. And once you are done, we can exit out of there and start the server. And once we started the server, it'll come up with a world. But since we haven't actually edited the server properties, what we need to do is we need to actually close out of the Microsoft server, shut it down, then open up the server.properties. Then in here, all we have to do is just change Bedrock level under the level name and change it to our world folder. So in this case, it is called My World. So we'll just change Bedrock level to My World. Save your server properties and start the Minecraft server. Once your Minecraft server has started, what you need to do is you need to open up Minecraft and connect to the server. But if you haven't port forward your Bedrock server, what you will need to do is you will need to go through the same setup that we did in the first section of this video, which is to open Firewall. Then we need to port forward UDP, since Minecraft Bedrock uses UDP. So in UDP, since I already have a rule set up for UDP, I can just double click on it to open it. Then all I need to do is, if you've already got a port already set up, all we need to do is just add a comma. And since the default port for Bedrock servers is 19132, all we have to do is just type in 19132. And then we just click on OK, and it should be good to go. So open up Minecraft, add your server if you haven't already, type in the IP address, so in this case mine, so vector.dns.ch, and save. And if you set up the server correctly, it will come up with dedicated server, and we can ping it. So we'll join the server. And once we've joined the server, we can type in exclamation mark help. And if we've added the packs correctly, we can see that the Voicecraft commands come up. So in this case, we want to link the Minecraft server to the Voicecraft server. So in this case, we'll be using the connect command. Now, with the connect command, one important thing to note is that since the Bedrock server and the Voicecraft server is running on the same machine or server, we again need to use the loopback IP address. If the Voicecraft server was running on a different server, we would need to input the IP of the machine that the Voicecraft server is running on. But since in our case we are running it on both the same server, we just need to put in the loopback IP address, which again is 127.0.0.1. Now, one thing that we need to do is we need to gather two pieces of information from Voicecraft. The first piece of information is we need to look at the MCCOM started port, then the port number. And we can see it is TCP. So it is very important to note that you cannot have two same ports on the same protocol. So we can't have two ports on the same TCP protocol. So as you can see, MCCOM has to be 9051. But that is the default port, so we don't need to actually change anything. So now that we know the MCCOM port is 9051, we need to get the server key. And the server key is given to you if your server is in server-sided positioning mode or hybrid positioning mode. And all we have to do is just copy this UUID, navigate back into Minecraft, and type in exclamation mark connect. And then since we've got both the servers running on the same machine, we type in the 127.0.0.1, which is the loopback IP address. Next, we need to put in the port, which, if you remember, was 9051, given to us in the MCCOM started logging. So 9051. Then we need to paste in the server key that we copied and enter. And it will say connecting/linking server, login accepted, server successfully linked. And that is all you need to do. You can close out of here and your server is ready to accept new and incoming connections. So next, I'll be showing you how to do the client-sided connections. Now for the client-sided, what you will need to do is you'll need to download the application, for Voicecraft application. Now, if you haven't watched the first section of this tutorial, you will need to watch that part to find the download link and how to install Voicecraft. You need to then run the Voicecraft application, and then you will need to add the server. Now, since I've already added the server, watch the first part of this tutorial. I will not be repeating myself here. Just add the server, like in the first part of this tutorial, and you should be good to go. So, now that we have the Voicecraft server added, which is given to us by the hoster, again, please watch the first part of the tutorial. I will not be repeating myself. This has to be given by the hoster. If you do not have this information, then you can't connect. It's as simple as that, and you can complain to the hoster. It is not my problem. So, once you have added the server, you can click on View. And since it's already set up for us, we can click on Connect. Now, if you've set client-side positioning mode on the Voicecraft application, we need to disable that. So, we just need to go to the settings, turn off client-side positioning, save settings, go back, click on View, and click on Connect. And as you can see, we have connected. Now, we can see here, when it says connected, key-0, waiting for binding, this means that Voicecraft is waiting for you to connect to the Minecraft server to then bind. So what we need to do is we need to open up Minecraft, connect to the server that has the Voicecraft server linked to it, in which case it's the same server for us. Then once we're in the server, all we have to do is type in !bind, then your key, which is given to you in the application. So key-0. So we'll be inputting 0, which is our key. So let's put in 0. And we have binded. And that is all you need to do. And so you should be able to hear directional hearing and the voice effects. If enabled on the server, you should be able to hear underwater talking and cave reverb. So that is it for this video. Hope you learned how to set Voicecraft up. If you're having troubles and you have tried everything, you can join the Discord below. I'll be leaving a link to the description below. And you can talk to me directly if you want help for issues that you have with Voicecraft. So, without further ado, I will see you all in the next video. Bye!